I go by the name of G5 like this. She got a nigga like ass fat like walk him down like pack loud like stay dangerous. Call it what you want, Ben Frank. Fuck something. Put your hands on that table, don't break, baby. Do it with no hands, she ain't even gotta touch nothing. I'm tryna make the bitch leave, but she keep coming. Chop her ass, chop it down, yeah, I'm on that. I'll walk him down, make him run that.
Is really iffy on the rear end given this ride height, so I'm not gonna push it. Okay. Okay.
That's what took Laguna Seca so long. Laguna Seca was like, nigga, we ain't ready for all that. But then when they seen them profits and all of that happen, and they're like, oh, okay.
All right. Not gonna risk it all on cornering, so we don't really dig into it because that's off camber flat. And it's relatively bumpy as hell, so I'm comfortable with the suspension. That's really what today's mission was, is just to feel out that suspension. Whew. But feeling out the suspension, also figure it's a good enough time to deal with the lap timer. That is the worst lane to be in on this corner. Wow. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I know sometimes when I come through this lane, I know, or not this lane, but this road, I know people are probably like, why are you all over between lanes? That's why. I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, whatever pimping, ever slipping, that's how it is.
So in all reality, I feel like we did get the suspension dialed in and set up, and the confidence that I was able to get rolling through that back road was pretty good. The cool part was I realized a few things. The two things, the first main one was when I went to the dealership, they changed my tire pressures. So what I had gotten comfortable with and confident with was now raised. Second thing, if your eyes noticed, when we changed the rear suspension, that made it a little softer so that it could kind of soak. When the rear end compressed, that brought the front fork from here to here. That little bit of rake or trail, however we want to call it at this point, but that little bit of change, because when it was rigid, it sat straight up this way, it didn't go back some. So when it was sitting up right here and being very firm on the compression, that made the front end feel nervous. Then with the rear end so damn hard, because of the addition of that link made the rear end sit up more. So you set high, I felt like I had more weight on my front handlebars. Geometry was all forward. That made the bike feel as if it was going to slide out the rear, oversteer condition if we're talking cars. But then also when you got into the turn, the front felt like it wanted to go away. So I was not able to really get into the groove and be confident. Thing that everybody's been asking about how to get to, I had to go and resort to, check out, and see a couple things. So I knew I didn't feel too confident jamming on it, but I did have to go check out the onboard situation, which I'll show you guys in this video. When you go to your theme and you go to your track, and then you set your tracks, all the stuff, and then you go over to the timer. This portion allows you to start timing your laps, but we're not going to run that right now. But I'm going to show you, I'm just showing you when you go to your track settings and you go to your lap times, you get to see this information here. So on that last lap that you just saw, 43 degrees max lean angle, 1.2 in braking, and I wasn't accelerating too hard. And then I also did 144 top speed with my average speed of 98. Now what that does is I was able to compare that with the last one, and there was a portion that obviously I made a few runs on the previous setting, and then I made a few runs on the new setting. So there was a portion of run that I was trying to have some courage and going into the corner at pace. And when I went into that corner, I went into the corner extremely hard. And when I was braking, because the front end was so rigid,
it was going over some of those vibes, those vibrations, and that's where we find the bike goes into ABS. Got into ABS on that one. So I did have 1.4 on decel for my G's, and I was in full acceleration at 1G. I'm sure it could be a little bit more aggressive if I really get after it, but that would maybe not be beneficial on the street. We'll see far greater numbers on the track, I do suppose, I do hope, but on the street I'm pulling 1.4 in braking and 1 on acceleration. As the bike flows better and flowed better with the suspension how it is, you know, it's a lot more calming. If you noticed my braking area, my brake test zone is a cool one because there's definitive markers. You could see them from way out. So you just push into the corner as hard as possible and then brake. And what I was doing was trying to see how far down the suspension stroke I get. Now, that's not bad. I would actually like to be about 2 mil, maybe 3 mil higher, but that's not bad. That's under 1.4 G's of braking force. I'm just telling you guys how capable and how really real this suspension is. People can say what they want, but if you're like a 150-pound jockey on this bike, the weapon that this is outrageous. You get all of this stuff stock. That's why I'm not in such a rush to modify this and that, because the suspension is really good how the engineers designed it. The geometry of this bike is really good how the engineers designed it. And the adjustability with the settings that actually make changes, you can get a good outcome. Now, I'm not a suspension tuner. I just kind of know where to go with certain things. When we go to the track, definitely spending some time with Dave Moss or Catalyst Reactive Tuning. Whoever's there, I'm going to spend the time to set this bike up because we're doing okay. We are doing okay. But I've never really done this on the street to a tire because I don't ride street that hard. This bike really is making me enjoy what we're doing, and I'm not smart enough to know what that's telling me, you know what I'm saying? But it's looking okay. It is looking okay. So, what about 43 degrees lean angle? This is where we get down to the stippling, but we've actually used all of the tire, gotten down to all of the tire. We're really using this portion down to about this portion really tough. And it's like that all the way through. Now, it's not cloudy, it's not rippled, it's not bumpy. So that just means to me that it's not bouncing. Everything is just laying there smooth. Hopefully, I've got compression and rebound set pretty good, but we'll be able to see once more forces get put on it when we're at the track. Anyway, the speed on this bike is shocking. The torque is where you just get like explosions out of corners, and I can see where a really talented rider riding this would hurt a good rider riding a leader bike, a capable leader bike. Oh, I hope that helps some of you guys out. I hope that was exciting for some of you guys to watch. I hope that inspires some of you to look into what's going on with your bike if it doesn't feel right. All right, so that's gonna be 2. We've had a hell of a week. We've pushed through it. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July, and let's keep pushing. I'm making the content on this channel that I like, and I'm making the content on this channel to hopefully inform some of the new riders and some of those that are waiting on R9 specifically, what you can look forward to. I want you guys to take that, soak that in, man. Don't ride like me, but take what I give you to apply to your setups. Figure that out. If you want to do suspension, set your front suspension between 30 and 32 millimeters of sag. Set your rear between 30 and 40. On the rigid side, if you ride track, you might set it a little bit lower. But if you're on the street, Set it 30-40 in the rear, 30-32 mil sag in the front. That means from static position to you sitting on it, how it settles down. That's just your average. What's suggested? By all means, your setup will be your setup. So, I'm gonna get y'all two. And we out.
When you mouth the wrong words, you gon' get the message. Big shot taker. Big shot maker. What? Switching on these niggas.